Alright, Ryan, let's look at this. I got Carlos up here, just a little bit of a comparison in Colin. Obviously, it's not fair to compare one to the other, but there's some things you can pull off of what they do to kind of look at it. So let's run it in slow-mo and see what that looks like. Alright, so we see start, see Colin make a good swing there, and now we watch Carlos. And a thing of beauty is he is getting full extension driving through that ball. That's awesome. So let's look back at it. Let's see what we got here as we reline Colin back to the start. Bring Carlos back. All right, like I said, don't want to do is try to compare one to the other because obviously it's not really fair. But let's look at the setup here. First thing you can see. Where he's at, Carlos is a little bit, he's already started his load, so he's getting a little stride. And all the stride is doing is transferring his weight to his back leg and getting him in what we call that launch position, which is real big. And that's the one thing we'll see. That launch position, right? Let me get my line right here. Right here. Alright, right where the hands are at, and they're ready to fire, okay? It's real big. Now look, as we see the setup, first thing I see is look at his feet. Okay, he's a little closed off, which maybe he's striding a little bit in the bucket or something. Maybe that's something you've done to correctively con there. That's fine. Some guys are a little closed off. It just can limit your hip rotation if you don't really square up at contact. All right. The other thing you see is look at where this bat is right there. Let's look at that. See where that's at his head? To fire and get any power, he's got to take it back here a good amount of ways to see where, look at where Carlos is right there. And that's a position where he's strong. He can generate some bat speed and power. Colin has to bring it back. Problem is he's bringing it down, and when he does, he's dropping his back side and his elbow just because of the strength it takes to fire from that position. All right, so let's bring it through. Let's start with Colin here. Alright, so there he is, his load. His first movement here, foot comes, hand comes. Now look at this position here. Look at where all his weight is, okay? His weight is all here, and his front knee is already open, okay? His hips are firing, but he's already got about 40% of his power is gone. Look at Carlos when he lands. Look at where he's at, alright? He's starting now to fire, but he doesn't fire on the front. He fires that back knee, and that back foot fires, and that's what brings it to power. So let's watch him as he fires. Back knee fires, and as he fires, the hip up the chain fires, and then his hands fire. They all fire in one position. And all he's doing now is just driving that back knee, and look at him. His toe is on he's not squishing the bug. He is firing towards the ball, and that's what's firing his hands. And look at where that position is where he's at. Alright, so look at Colin when he fires. See, he's already, boom, weight's out, he's getting his hips through. That's good. And look, that's a good position right there. He's good. But now watch after he makes contact. Where does his weight go back? It goes back to the back foot. What you want to do, if your weight fully goes through, when you finish, you're not coming back on that back foot. You're driving your weight forward through the ball, and that finish should be on that front leg, okay? Watch Carlos as he gets through. He gets through there. That back foot has cleared. His hips is cleared, and he's standing tall right there. He's not leaning back, all right? So as we take it back, a couple things that he can do, all right, things that I would watch. All right, first of all, just make sure he's good and comfortable. The big thing to say is when you fire and load, you got to get your hands in that launch position, all right? And see where they at right here. Watch where his hands go. They come down, and then he fires, and he's strong enough. He's going short to the ball, but that bat, the barrel, is underneath, okay? Anything above the waist, he's got no chance. because he's going to have to look, because this is a uppercut. What that means is the bat is on plane a very short amount of time. Alright? If he could get to where he gets his hands back just a little bit more, maybe a little more here, where when he fires he could stay on plane longer. That means they keep the barrel above the hand, stay level, and he doesn't have to have perfect timing to hit the ball, because on the uppercut he's either going to hit it square, or if he's a little early he's going to top it, or if he's a little behind he's going to pop it up. So just gives him more room to be good with his timing there. So front hips, so a couple things you can do is really break it down, do some drills where you're like, alright, ready, load, fire, and really concentrate on firing that backside while you're still closed off and loaded on the front, and creating power and torque. The torque is created by that front leg being solid. Look when Carlos fires, that front leg right there, look at that. Look at where his front leg is. That is straight because he's pushing here. Front leg is straight, and that's what's creating torque and power through the bat. Look when Colin pushes. He gets there. That's good, and that's what what you want to be. But you make sure you're firing off that firm front side, and his body's getting all the way through. All right. So I think the biggest thing would be maybe just get him into a position where his hands are ready to fire, and he can go on plane, and he's not opening up those hips already, where everything's already gone, where he can stay closed a little longer and then just fire on that front side. Alright, a couple of those drills for the hands. And that bat path we talked about, a little bit of lead hand, follow hand. Lead hand really focusing on staying on top of the ball. Really, it's going to be a little harder drill. That's not as important. Don't worry about hitting the ball hard. It's just about staying firm. And you got to get a really light bat, or he's going to have problems. Now the follow hand, you can really concentrate on saying, okay, here we go. We keep the hands in our path position. All right, let's fire. Let's not go around the ball. Let's fire straight to the ball. And when I fire, I want to think about being on top, and that barrel being on top of my hands so I can stay level. Alright, and once you fire through those, you do a couple like 5 and 5, do a couple 2 hands, and you can go back 5 and 5, or maybe just really concentrate on the follow hand, and the lead hand, just work on not being locked out with that front arm. Keep it nice and bent, and working on extension down through the ball, where you're extending at the point of contact, not extending to drag the bat through. That's what you don't want to see. All in all, man, I really like his swing. He's got some ability, definitely very athletic in his swing. I like where he gets through, and he's finishing good. That's good. He's already down there. I like that he didn't squish the bug. He pushed it through. He could just push it through just a little bit more. I like that. Maybe work on some of that on the finish and follow through. But all in all, pretty solid. Really, you can maybe do a couple where he's working on some tee and then some flips, and really saying, okay, get that front foot down, get those hands in that launch position, and really work on driving that back knee, which fires the hip, and then the hands fire all in one piece. And that's really where we get to go from there. So hopefully that helps. We can work through some of those and answer questions you have, but maybe that's a little start and something Colin can look at and can compare.